Welcome back to the Sunday Brunch with Ben and Ned and Michael.
Hi.
Well, if you missed the first half, go back and watch. We solved all the world's problems.
Well, at least the ones in Ferguson, Missouri. You can consider that a non-issue now. We wrapped it up.
Yeah.
Now we're going to turn our attention to the creator of the universe, or the lack thereof, and we'll try to put that boogeyman to bed.
Absolutely. Wrap that up.
Fun little topic, the nature of the universe, the nature of reality, of being, spirit, God, religion, atheism versus non-theism versus agnosticism.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mouthful.
That's
a lot of theism.
Ben and I kind of know each other pretty well and have pretty similar, probably a fairly similar concept of universe and God. And I have an idea of your beliefs because we talked about the system.
Describe them to me. I love being described.
You are a pagan, atheist, sinner, my friend.
You know me so well.
No,
Gets me all giddy.
to be called a sinner. How would you describe your belief system about those matters of God and such?
Well, I was born into a Protestant family and raised as such. And along the way, as I grew up, I kind of looked back on everything that I was taught as I got older, and just it didn't fit for me, and it didn't work for me, and one of the lessons I learned early on was nobody wanted to talk about the fact that it didn't work for me, or
Just push that under the...
I found that as adults, when you're a child and you ask, really, how did Noah get to North America to get 2 buffalo and 2 bobcats and get Michael, have a graham cracker. And so nobody really wanted to talk about it. And so I figured out that it's, okay, nobody wants to talk about it, but it didn't really work for me. And I figured maybe they didn't really believe in it so much either. So that made it more difficult for me to believe. And then just as I got older, I just started to formulate my own beliefs. And I have largely come down into, I keep an open mind, but largely I've come down into the atheist camp. And I don't feel anything, and I haven't seen anything that can lead me to believe that there's any kind of a consciousness or a God governing anything or guiding anything. It's difficult for me to look at all the splendor and awe of the universe as I know it and not feel that there must be something, but I haven't seen any evidence of it, and I'm not one to really be able to make myself fake it until I make it and believe in it until I see more to make me believe it. So for now, I'm an atheist, and that just is what works for me, I guess.
We'll pray for you.
I know. That's what my mother says.
Yes.
Every Thanksgiving, we're still praying for you. You godless heathen.
Ben and I are joking, but to give a little background on or at least on, I'll speak for myself. I believe in God in the sense of, spirit, of underlying law, of principle, of the force, of all that there is. I would call it God. I don't believe in an anthropomorphic creature looking down on us or anything outside of ourselves who is manipulating us and rewarding us if we do things that make him or her happy, or punishing us, so I don't believe in that sort of idea of God, but something and everything, spirit, we would call it the divine mind. So I believe in God. I think I hear it speaking right now.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
The mystery guest is here.
It's a very concise description of your metaphysics.
That is.
It's
the allness of the all.
It is.
Well, touching on something that you said, is I have had experiences in my life that make it impossible for me to deny an intelligence that is other and beyond. I have felt moments of communion and and being in touch with something
I envy you.
transcendent and powerful. And so, where in my daily life and the way I behave, I have no use for religion and dogma and rules and rituals and those sort of things. I live and behave much more like an atheist or a non-theist. A Buddhist or Zen practitioner is much closer to the way that I live and get along in the world. But I can't shake a couple of visionary kind of experiences that have happened to me that put me pretty firmly in the camp that there is a consciousness beneath, behind, within, and beyond it all. But I can certainly relate to your position.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I hadn't had those experiences, I would be in your camp firmly.
Yeah.
It's only because of what I've seen that I feel the way I feel. When I was a teenager, I was definitely a firm non-believer and considered it all hogwash.
Michael, if you were not raised in a particular religion, you said you were raised Protestant.
Protestant.
Do you think you would be at this point in your life exploring more willing to entertain the idea of whatever, some form of religion?
There's a lot of assumptions that I find people make about atheists, and first of all, it's kind of scary to come out and admit that you're an atheist because it's one of the final taboos. It's for some reason it's okay for people to really dislike you if you're an atheist, and to really automatically assume that means you are the godless vessel of all that is evil.
Just because it's common doesn't mean it's okay.
No,
Let's
yeah,
clear that
no,
up
no,
right
no,
now.
no,
It's
no.
not. It's not okay.
No, it's not okay. But I'm just saying that's an experience that I have and I struggle with, but I do feel. I can't feel a connection to any, for lack of a better term, God or being, but I do feel a sense of awe for the experiences I've had in my life, and for just when you stop and think about the universe and the science behind it and everything.
Or just stand out in a field away from the city and
Yeah.
look up at the night sky when it's really clear and you don't have the light pollution.
Exactly.
And you can see the Milky Way stretched out across
Yeah.
there. It's hard not to feel some splendor and wonder.
And I sometimes wonder, when I'm thinking about the whole topic to myself, I sometimes find myself wondering how much of it is what I feel and how much of it is the dogma that I was taught when I was growing up, and how much of it is, because it's kind of scary sometimes to admit that you're an atheist and say, "Whoa, if there is a God, he'd be pretty pissed at me right now." So I might want to start thinking about patching that up. I don't want to go to hell.
There is
So,
that idea
there is this
to
fear.
practice the religion just in case.
Yes, just in case. But then that's kind
It's
of
like the worst.
That's
the
horrible.
worst.
And
it is.
And then
That's
I
cowardice.
yeah, and so
Well, that's what. If that's the scenario, then God wants your coward. God wants to scare you into obedience and worship.
Well, let me just say,
I'm not saying I buy it.
if that was true and God really was that way, then screw him, man. Who needs a God like that?
yeah,
That's
I
awful.
mean, yeah, it's love me,
Where's your logic?
worship me.
Where's your logic? If that's the case, then you better obey him, dude, because you're screwed. You
No,
can't.
I'm not saying it's logical. That's just how I feel.
Well, there is one thing that I'm really surprised at, that ever since I embraced the role of being an atheist and kind of admitted to myself that is how I feel. There's one thing that really surprises me that hasn't left me, and I still feel it, and it's a strong thing, and that is I often feel. A lot of people who will ask about atheism ask, well, aren't you scared to think that there's a universe with nobody guiding it, and you just die and you disappear, and we're all spinning out of control? And I'm like, that's not really, no, that doesn't really scare me. The one thing that I feel that I miss the most is I often feel this real desire to express gratitude for when good things happen, or a blessing, for lack of a better term for an atheist to use. When something happens, I feel a desire to express gratitude and thankfulness, but I don't a prayer to me, the best metaphor I can think of, for me, praying is leaving a voicemail message on a house that's abandoned in a forgotten part of town. And it just goes off to nowhere, and I don't have anybody to send it to.
Sure.
And I have anybody to be thankful to, but I do feel this, and I wonder sometimes how much of that is what I was taught to feel.
Sure.
And how much of it is genuine. Because if it's a genuine feeling, it's a wonderful feeling, and it's the closest thing that I feel to something telling me that maybe there's something more, but I'm not willing to accept that or to commit to that, and or to step away from the fact that I think I'm an atheist.
I think that's that's juicy stuff.
Oh,
And, yeah.
I can't talk on this subject without bringing up, two of the philosophies that I've studied, Buddhism and Taoism, and kind of non-theistic belief systems that say there is no self, there is no one at home, so to speak.
Yeah.
You are leaving a voicemail to
Yeah.
nothing. And then the theistic systems that believe in divine mind, one presence, one power, the infinite consciousness. I feel like those are two signs pointing at the same thing from two different angles. That if you were to dissect yourself a piece at a time, little by little by little by little by little, you would never come to the point that was you. You would never find that one cell that is me, that is the seat of my personality and my awareness and my sense of
that's
I.
very interesting.
It is nothing. It is nothing that is my I. It is emptiness that is my sense of self, and that's the whole beautiful paradox of it.
Yeah.
Oh.
That the no self and the God self are the same thing, just viewed from two different sides.
Yeah, beautiful. And I like to think of this is all God having an experience. Spirit or the universe, that intelligence that is beyond time, beyond space. It is everything, it is nothing.
Dreaming time and space and
Dreaming
being.
time and space. Kind of saying, I'm bored, I want to have a relationship, I want to experience stuff, so I'm going to have an experience of people and physicality. So this is all just God birthing God. So this is just a conversation, God. I use the word God. Other people who don't like that word God, you can just say spirit or being, having a conversation with being. So really there is no thing for me to say thank you to, because I'm not talking to God. I am God. The truth of who and what we are is that. Mm-hmm. So when if I use the term thank you God as a prayer, it's really thanking self. It's really just self-reminding self to experience gratitude. And the only way for me, Ned, to relate to it is kind of as a person having a relationship with something. So I understand that. Picturing
Well, just like we are one energy, one consciousness relating to itself, I can, relate to something else, a God concept, the universe at large, even though that's one energy, one consciousness relating to itself. It's just as valid as us having a conversation.
And it kind of as a way of out of convenience. It's sometimes a metaphor to say, God did this, God is doing this, God, and all the stories in the Bible and Noah and all that. It's all metaphor.
like I always say, when I'm praying, I just say, God,
that would cut church down way a whole lot. That'd be
Forget
great.
Yeah. It was like the
Tag, he's done. Go.
We know.
And now he's a cat playing a piano.
Because imagine if when we were God, what could be more boring than eternal tranquility and bliss? I mean, how old would that get after a while? I mean, eventually there had to be Rambo,
Ooh, eventually there was Rambo.
I mean, it had to happen that there was going to be conflict.
Yeah.
That we needed explosions and excitement.
That is strange.
Spice things up.
You got it. And when was first blood actually
Drawn.
Because it's drawn all the drinks.
James
It's
You two are adorable. I could
Oh, stop.
watch you.
Oh, what you think of me.
Anyway, so the timeless, the infinite, expressing as, in this experience of time, we say back when we were God, but it really wasn't something that happened in the past, nor something that's going to happen in the future, because that thing is beyond time. It's outside of, it's behind time, so it's really an interesting concept.
You know.
We know. I want to start wrapping this up. This is an infinite topic that we could explore infinitely.
But you already know.
As you know.
Michael, do you have other thoughts on this God, godless, or you, Ben? I don't mean to rush us off here, but
You know. I think anybody should just stay open. I try to stay open. Try not to lock yourself down to any one particular belief system, and know that it's okay. Whatever you wind up believing, that's what works for you for now.
Have we saved you? Have we convinced you? Have we?
Not quite yet. No,
Okay.
that's good.
There's still time.
We're still going to pray for you.
You know.
It is. Do you want to do what
What
have we learned
on the show today?
segment?
And this goes back, if you go back and watch the first segment on militarization of the police and Ferguson and riots, so in that whole big bucket of stuff, anything that we've learned on the show today? Who wants to go first? I don't have anything yet.
You go ahead. You want to go?
Okay.
Yes!
Well, what I have learned today is that atheists feel a lot of hostility from the theists and the believers out there. At least some atheists
we
do.
get a lot of it from them, but they don't know.
Stop picking on the
And,
atheists.
give
Be
them a
nice to
break.
the
Honestly,
atheists.
I mean, I think the whole point was love one another. If I recall, that was
It's true.
the final commandment.
I do remember something about that.
If they're going to go to hell, that's going to be enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to punish them any more than that.
So you can be smug.
You may as
You don't have to be mean.
You may as well
Just be smug.
Yeah.
Like a cat playing a piano.
I learned on the show today that, that I kind of hope my brother doesn't watch this one. I don't know, maybe I do, actually. Because we talked about a topic I haven't talked about with him, about the police, the po-po. It may be cray-cray for me to be talking about this.
I have a neighbor who's a cop, and he's a good guy, and my son plays with his son, and we're neighbors.
There you go.
So they're good people.
I guess I've learned on the show. I've learned that that's an issue I perhaps want to explore with my family. Or maybe I don't want to explore. I don't know. I've learned nothing.
You need to explore whether or not you want to explore it.
Ooh, thank you.
You have learned there is much to learn.
Which is the first step to learning.
Mike, you have any reflections, lessons from today?
There's a lot still left to be said and a lot to learn, but we should give ourselves credit for what we have learned, and we should focus on what we have yet to learn.
Wow.
And be grateful.
And
to
be grateful.
No one in particular.
And that it's okay to feel things that you don't necessarily understand, but to go with it.
Yeah. Well, I think on behalf of all of us, I can say we are grateful.
Indeed, we are.
Yes, we are.
Thanks for watching the Sunday Brunch.
Yeah, grateful to you for watching the show. Again, find us on Facebook, Sunday Brunch with Ben and Ned. More great videos out there for you to enjoy. Leave us a comment. If there's any topic you want us to tackle, we'd be happy to do that.
This has been our friend Michael Collins. And
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Pleasure. Let's do this.
Until next time,
Peace.